Alright guys, so today we're checking out the brand new SoundPEATS Sonic. Now, every time we check out a SoundPEATS product, they always kind of prove that they can give you a lot for your money. And this pair, honestly, is probably their most polished product overall. And it comes in at $50. And right now, the last time I checked on Amazon, with a coupon code, I think you could even pick them up for under 40 bucks. And you'll see when we talk about the features mixed with the sound that these have, why the $50 price tag might actually be a steal. Now, to start with, these are a slightly different color. Usually SoundPEATS products come in the black. This is a silver kind of mixed with a rose gold. It doesn't look as over the top with the rose gold like other products do. I think usually when a product goes overboard with rose gold, it kind of tends to look girly. I think these look very good. It just kind of has a different look altogether. Now, as far as the technology that these have, these come in with Bluetooth 5.2. They're rocking a Qualcomm 3040 chip, but they have aptX adaptive. Now, this allows for high-res audio. It cuts down on the latency. These also have a game mode, which definitely cuts down on the latency, and it also cuts down on having any, stutters or hiccups when it comes to the connection. So this is a very solid, stable connection when it comes to these earbuds, and I never experience any kind of dropouts. Now, they do also have AAC playback for you guys that are using Apple devices, and as far as the connection overall, it's using the TWS mirroring. So one earbud just simply mirrors the other's connection, which what that means is if you're listening to an earbud and you decide to take the other earbud out, it almost instantly connects to that other one. And again, this improves the connection overall. Now, as far as the IP rating that these have, they do come in rated at IPX5, so this is not a pair that is completely waterproof, but it'll be fine against rain, splashes, or if you sweat heavily. Because from what I can tell on their site, this pair is more geared towards an active lifestyle, so if you're looking for a pair for the gym, that IPX5 rating is definitely going to help. Now, inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And as far as the charging cable goes, they include a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life is hands down some of the best that I've seen on a pair of truly wireless earbuds, because you're getting around 15 hours on a single charge on the earbuds themselves. Now, the case does give you 2 full charges, so you're actually going to get around 45 hours total. And to me, I think that's crazy. The 15 hours on the earbud itself is very impressive. Now, the case is not a Qi wireless charging case, so you can see on the back you have that USB-C input for charging, and that's the only way that you can charge these. Now, next to that, you have an indicator light, and that just lets you know that you're charging, because underneath the lid, you have another indicator light, and that allows you to gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, like I said, I think these have a more distinguished look than some of the other SoundPEATS products. I really like the look of these. Now, one thing I do want to point out, on the earbuds, the logo actually lights up. So it lights up once they're turned on, it lights up when they're in pairing mode, but they do shut off whenever you're playing any audio out of it. So you don't have to worry if you're using these in bed that light is going to just glow the whole room. As long as you're listening to something, that light will not come on. So I do like that they made that decision. Now, as far as the controls on here, these are using button controls, and I'm happy to say that you have control over everything. And you have your play, your pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and even volume control all on the earbuds themselves. And like I said earlier, these do have a gaming mode, so you do have the ability to control that from the earbud, and that definitely cuts down on any kind of lag. So if you're going to be using these for gaming or movies, that's definitely a plus, but do know that will cut down on some of your battery life. And as far as you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And another thing that they did right is when you're using one earbud by itself, it switches over into mono mode. So all of your audio is going to come out of that one earbud, and so it's not going to feel like you're missing anything from the other earbud. Now, as far as the microphones on here, this is another thing I think they did a pretty decent job with. They are using the CVC technology, so it's trying to focus in on your voice and block out your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the SoundPEATS Sonic.
I think overall it does a pretty decent job. I do notice that my vocals sound a little bit muffled, but I think for phone calls, this will more than get the job done. And so now here is the mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. The sound on these are incredible, especially if you're somebody that likes a dynamic sound and you're somebody that really enjoys hearing and feeling bass, because these things are bass cannons. I haven't heard bass presence like this out of a pair this inexpensive. The presence of bass is very booming, but the plus here is it doesn't drown anything else out, because the mids have a nice natural tone to it where the treble is actually tuned to be pretty bright. And I think they did that on purpose because the bass is so overpowering. The treble is tuned up in a way that if you're going to listen to these at higher volumes, sometimes it can actually seem a little too harsh. Now, I think this is fine as long as you're not listening at max volume, because it just has a really nice balanced out sound with a bright treble and a boomy bass, and mids never get lost in the mix. So it just sounded great with all genres. Now, obviously pop and hip hop, more genres that are geared towards bass, these are going to sound best with, but it didn't get muddy with metal. It didn't seem to get lost when it comes to more chaotic music, which is really impressive, not only because this is a boomy headphone, but also given the price. Now, as far as the soundstage and the sound imaging, this is not the most open sounding earbud that I've heard. I still think it does a pretty good job with this, but I would say it makes you feel like you're more into a medium to large size room, but I had no issues with being able to tell where instruments and where sounds were coming from. And overall, this is just an excellent pair to listen to. Now, as far as my cons with these, I really only have two. One is I wish it had Qi wireless charging, and that's mainly because it's something that I've gotten used to. And then my only other complaint is I think some people might want these to work with an app so that you can EQ them in a way to maybe pull down the bass. If you are not a bass head, I would not recommend these because they are boomy. And I think the fact that they're geared towards using them for workouts and outdoors, that boomier bass definitely comes into play. But guys, that's my video on the brand new SoundPEATS Sonic. I think these are excellent for the price, and they're even more a bonus the fact that you can pick them up for under $40 right now. But even at the retail price of $50, I don't think anybody is gonna have any complaints. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.